It's been 2 years since I last gave you a tour of this desk setup, and in that time, a lot has changed, but at the same time, a lot hasn't. But regardless, I feel like you're due for an update. So here is my 2023 Cabin Fever desk setup tour. When I set out to make this desk setup in 2019, I knew one thing, and that was that I wanted it to look like I was in a cabin. I wanted it to have a warm, cozy feeling, and because of that, I went with the 70 by 30 standing desk from StanDesk. This is the reclaimed wood sit-stand desk, and it gives it a really great rustic feel. I get comments about this on my Instagram all the time. People asking me, where's this desk from? The one thing I will say about StanDesk is they've been a little hit or miss lately. I don't know at the time of you watching this what your experience will be like, but I do know that their website went down for a little while. They took their affiliate program offline. I thought they were going out of business, and then their website went back up. But if you go try and buy this desk right now, it's actually under pre-order. So it's like 80% off, which is why I don't know what's going on. I'm glad I got this in 2019. Go check it out for yourself if you want to see it and see if they have it. But I really do love the desk. It's a great look. It's great quality. The one thing I didn't expect was I thought this was going to be solid reclaimed wood, but it's actually wood underneath and then wood panels on top, which gives it this cool little look. And of course, because it is a standing desk, it's got a little control panel over here that allows you to move it up and down. So if I press down, it goes down. If I press up, it goes up. It's got 3 slots for memorization. I have number 2 set to standing, number 1 set to sitting, and number 3 for my walking pad, which actually comes in really handy. But I do love using this as a standing desk. I do it all the time to kind of alleviate the pressure on my back. Now, the reason I went with a 70-inch wide desk is because I knew I wanted dual monitors. I wanted as much space as possible when it came to working on my computer. So I went with 2 4K Dell U2718Qs. These are 27-inch monitors, 4K, 60 Hertz, and they look great. Now, Dell says that they color calibrate these from the factory to your door. The one thing I will say is that when I got both of these, one of the monitors had a slightly off hue. It had a little bit more of a yellowish hue, which I was able to fix in the monitor settings, but I don't understand why that would happen if they're color calibrated. Regardless, the colors look great once I got them to match. I love editing videos on this. They're very accurate, and I have no complaints. They've served me for the past 3 years, and they're great monitors. With that said, if you do want to check these out, I will leave the current versions that I have in the description below, along with everything else that I talk about in this video. Now, in order to have dual monitors like this side by side, I needed a good mounting system. So for the mount, I chose the Kensington dual arm monitor mount. This is a C-clamp mount, so it actually mounts to the back of the desk. And it can hold up to 34-inch monitors and 20 pounds. This is actually a gas spring system, so it's very sturdy but easy to manipulate if you need to. And also, I really love that they have a smart leveling system. So essentially, you get a diagram of the size of your hand, and you use that with the colors in the back to determine at what height those monitors need to be. It makes it really easy to make sure that the monitors are at the correct height for good ergonomics. Whew, that was a mouthful. Sitting on top of both of these monitors are the OO Wolf light bars. I picked these up on Amazon. They're super cheap. Essentially, they are pretty much like any of the light bars out there. They shine on your desk, so you have a great little illumination here. It serves as a desk lamp, but also it helps alleviate eye strain when you're working in the dark. These specific models also have a light shining in the back, which is kind of cool, which gives you like a little bit of a backdrop, especially at night. If I'm editing, it causes less strain, and it looks good too. A lot of them have the little dial that you can adjust the settings. These have capacitive touch buttons on each side that control the power, the temperature, and the strength. And honestly, these are much cheaper than the competition out there, and they do the exact same job. So I'm very happy with them. When I'm doing work, it's really important for me to be able to pick up and go anywhere. I travel sometimes, and I'd like to be able to edit videos on the go. But when I'm at home, I want it to feel like I'm at my own workspace. I don't want it to feel like I'm working on the same computer that I'm using on the go. And because of that, I decided to go with a 2019 MacBook Pro. This is a little bit outdated now that they have the M1 and M2 chips, but at the time it was a beast of a machine. This is an i9 32GB MacBook Pro with a Radeon 5500M. It basically just plugs into this Kensington dock here, which I'll talk about in a second, but I have it folded up here in clamshell mode, so it's really easy to plug into my desk. and have a full desk environment, but unplug it and take it with me on the go anytime I need to head out. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it is a little outdated now, and I recently switched over to editing videos in DaVinci Resolve, and it's struggling to keep up. But so far it's been trusty, and I don't know when I'm gonna retire this thing, but I am looking to do so soon. But in the meantime, it's just gonna stay here. Holding the MacBook in its clamshell mode is the walnut wood MacBook dock from GroveMade. Great little device here that allows me to just slip my MacBook in and plug in. It's also lined with felt, so you don't have to worry about scratching your MacBook, which is nice. So if this is the brain of the setup, this Kensington dock over here is the nervous system kind of tying it all together. This is the Kensington SD5600T. It is a Thunderbolt 3 dock with dual 4K HDMI and DisplayPort ports on it. It also has 96 watts of power delivery, so it can power my MacBook without a problem and charge it up. It's got all your standard ports on it: SD card, micro SD, USB-C, USB-A, audio jack, basically anything I need. And this allows me to basically plug in my SD card when I need to, any USB devices like my external hard drives and such, in a very easy manner. I got this specifically because of its dual 4K nature, so it's running 4K over HDMI to both of these monitors, and it works flawlessly. Before, I was using the Alogic 10-in-1, and it was starting to go out on me. It would have glitches here and there. I haven't had any issues with this whatsoever. So again, when I set out to make this setup, I wanted it to be warm, rustic, cozy, and I felt like a typewriter keyboard would be the perfect addition to that. Now, people either love or hate this thing. I personally love it, but this is the QuirkyWriter Bluetooth typewriter mechanical keyboard. It sits in a scratch-free aluminum housing with Sherry MX Blue switches in it, and it's got these typewriter-inspired keycaps. You can use it over Bluetooth or USB-C. It's got dual encoder knobs, one for volume, one for scrolling, and a programmable enter button. It also has a little slot for tablets if you want to, throw your iPad or your Galaxy Tab in here, but I don't ever use that. For the mouse, I am using the MX Master 2S. I am still overdue for an upgrade to the 3S, but for now, this one is getting me by. The only thing I wish I could change are these buttons where the thumb sits, which ironically the 3S does change. But for now, I'm using this. I will upgrade soon, and supporting my wrist, is the Carpio 2.0 from Delta Hub, which is a little ergonomic wrist rest that just sits under the palm of your hand for improved ergonomics. And underneath those two are the matte black desk pad from GroveMade. I like this. This isn't small. The reason I like this is because it doesn't take up my entire desk, so you still get the character of the reclaimed wood, that rustic feel, but it does protect my desk from my typewriter and my mouse, and also keeps everything neat and organized right here in the middle. As a content creator, part of my job is creating voiceovers, and I wanted a good microphone that I could do that with that sounded good, but also didn't cost an arm and a leg. So I chose the Fifine K658 microphone. This is a great microphone on a budget. It's a USB-C dynamic mic. The only thing that I have an issue with is the RGB lights, which I'm not a big fan of, but you can turn those off with this capacitive touch button. You can also adjust the volume and mute with a capacitive mute button. Great microphone for a great price. Holding the microphone is the Kensington A1020 boom arm. It's a great boom arm with a cable rail so you can actually hide the microphone's cable through it. It's sturdy, it has great range of motion. It looks like a lot of other microphone holders out there. I do like this one for this desk, but I do use the Elgato low profile on my gaming desk. Both are great options. You just kind of have to choose what works for your personal preference there. Because I wanted this to be a cozy, warm environment, one of the things that I was really fixated on was making sure that this was an immersive experience. And in order for that to happen, I needed to have good sound coming from this setup. So I integrated the Klipsch 2.1 Pro Media speakers on both sides of the monitor. The Klipsch 2.1 Pro Media system has a subwoofer and 2 satellite speakers. It's got 260 watts of peak power. I love playing music through this thing. I think it's extremely immersive. The sound is really good. The bass is deep. It's got a lot of power, and they're not the best speakers on the market. They're not gonna be the best quality audio that you can get, but they sound really good for the price. You can also take the grill off of the satellite speakers, which gives it a little bit more of an antique feel, which I felt like matched really well with the setup. The one gripe that I have with this sound system is the control module. So the control module sits on one of the satellite speakers. There's no power button, so you can't turn it off. And additionally, it's all run by a 3.5mm aux cord. I really wish there were more options when it came to this, but I'm not complaining. The sound system is good, the price is good, and I love playing my music and my videos and pretty much anything through these speakers while I'm sitting down at this desk. Every once in a while though, you're not in a position where you can play music out loud, or you just want to have a little bit more control over what you're hearing, and for that I'm using the Sony XM3s as my headphones. These are quite outdated at this point, but they have been so good to me. They are some of the best noise canceling headphones on the market. And when I say that, I'm talking about the XM series, not specifically the XM3s. The audio quality out of these is really good. The noise canceling is really good. I love taking these on planes. The only thing is, because these are the XM3s, I don't have multi-device support, so I do want to eventually upgrade to the XM4s, but for now, these are great. And holding these headphones is the Grove Made walnut wood headphone stand. You just kind of put these on here like this, and it makes for a really aesthetic, great looking way to hold your headphones. Because I work from home and I have such a cool setup, that also sets me up for pretty much being constantly in front of my work. So when I want to take a step back from work, I like to use my Boox Note Air 2 Plus e-reader tablet. I got this late last year and I love this thing. I love reading books on personal finance. I've started to get into Star Wars books lately. Another thing that I like to do on this thing is journaling to kind of help reset my mental health and make sure that I'm aware of my emotions and things that I'm feeling throughout the day, which is pretty important, I think, to everybody. But all of that aside, I really love this thing. It runs Android, so I can pretty much run any apps on it that I need to, like Audible, so I can actually listen to my books while I'm reading them, which is kind of cool. Some people love to do that. Great little tablet, great little e-reader. Holding it is the Grove Made walnut wood tablet stand. This is actually specifically for iPads, I think, but it can actually hold any tablet. You can throw your iPad on it. I throw this on it. You can throw a Galaxy Tab on it. It's great. Also has the felt lining so that you're not scratching up your device. One of the most important things when I'm designing a space, and for you to design your desk setup, something that you're going to be in front of all the time, something that you're using constantly, is to make sure that it has character. And one of the things that I like to do is throw in little knickknacks, little things here and there that kind of bring the setup to life. This is arguably one of the most asked about, but also one of the most novelty items that I own in this desk, and that is the Tidbit. The Tidbit is essentially like a Raspberry Pi device hooked up to an LED, and by LED I mean individual LED matrix display that shows information. It can show you the time, it can show you the weather, it can show you stocks, it can actually throw up memes on there, all kinds of different things. The App Store is super limited in my opinion, and the device is a little pricey, but it does match the vibe, and I like having it here. I can see my YouTube subs, I can see all kinds of information. It's a cool little device to have. Don't necessarily recommend it for the price, but if you like it, buy it. If you don't, if you think it's silly, don't get it. Now, when I originally set up this desk setup, everything was feeling kind of empty, and one thing that I did to fix that was actually throwing these Grove Made wall shelves up on the wall. It just kind of fills up the space and gives me other places to set things that I'm very interested in, like lo-fi or keyboards or that retro Mac charger or a lamp, all kinds of different things that you could put up there, but it just kind of brings the space together and makes it look like a complete setup. One of the things that I like about the Grove Made wall shelves is there's actually a slot, like a little slit behind each shelf that you can run cables through. So for example, I have my lantern up there and I can run the power cable through there. Keeps it really neat and organized and no need to throw the cables over the side or over the front. Obviously you can't be standing all the time, and so when I am sitting, I am using the Autonomous Ergo Chair 2. This is pretty much just an ergonomic office chair. It's pretty well designed. I like that it is a mesh back and a mesh headrest, although I don't feel like the headrest is functional at all. I do wish this bottom seat was mesh as well. It's not, it's a cushion, but I don't have as many airflow problems as I would think, if you know what I'm talking about. It is a decent chair for, I would say, a slightly expensive price. There are a lot of alternatives out there on the market that I feel like have a very similar design that you could get for half the price. It's got a couple of different modes. You can swing it back, you can lock it. The armrests move in and out, back and forward. So it's a decent chair. It's comfortable enough to sit in through all hours of the day, and it's served me well. In the end, I'm really happy with how this desk setup came out. It does match the theme that I wanted, the rustic, cabin, cozy, warm vibe. The desk really has a great look to it. The whole environment just feels very cozy. I love walking in the mornings, sitting at my desk and getting straight to work. As I mentioned earlier, the links to everything that I mentioned will be in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. I'm really happy with the way this desk setup came out, and I genuinely love sitting at it and using it every single day. Let me know what your favorite part of the desk is below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.